Tony Brown was here in Fort Wayne about 22 years ago. He said some very interesting things in his speech then. And one of the points that really stood out in my mind was the fact that he said that if you're an African American and you enjoy being black, you are automatically accused of not liking whites.
Right.
So therefore, to prove that we don't dislike whites, we do things that wind up hurting ourselves. And that's, if you follow what I just said there, that's pretty much true around here, where just like with Reverend Wright and people that think like him, they get put into a category, Malcolm X, of being a militant, the establishment, anti-America. These guys hate America.
Right. Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Because we aren't assimilating to the status quo. If you don't assimilate to the status quo, then you have to be different. I raised, like I said, an African-American son pretty much by myself. However, my child, I had to prepare him differently than a white mother has to prepare her child to go out here in this world, because he will face things that white American children won't face. People felt like, some of them felt like, well, you're kind of racist. It had nothing to do with race. As a parent, my job is to prepare my child for what he has to see. So he has to work 3 times harder. He has to keep himself looking a certain way. He has to be able to talk intellectually. So I had to prepare him, and people would say, well, that's just being American, but it's not true.
And I just want to say, Reverend Wright, what he's speaking about transcends really race. He's talking about those issues that, he's talking about like justice. Justice, regardless of what race you are, you need justice. Regardless of what race you are, you need freedom, you need equality, regardless of what race you are. And he's talking about institutionalized racism. He wasn't talking about white people, okay? He wasn't talking about bad about the American people. He was talking about institutions that's in place in America that had to be eradicated. When I was in school, I'm going to say this real quick and let you go, Mr. Heck. When I was in school, I'm in Snyder High School, I'm telling on you. When I was in school, I told my guidance counselor, I said, I want to become a doctor. I want to be a medical doctor. And I was really, I'm incredibly studious. I said, I want to be a medical doctor. My guidance teacher told me, my counselor told me, Jabbar, you're a C average student. You get C pluses. Do you honestly think people want to be operated on by a C plus student? This sounds relevant to a kid. It sounds plausible to a kid. But she didn't inspire me to say, hey, you can bring these grades up. You need to become an A plus student. You can do it. I'll help you become an A plus student. I'll do all that I can. She didn't, and that's what she gave black kids. See, and I was in school, and I saw at Snyder High School where the white students, if they had a question about something, the teacher said, stay after class. I'm going to make sure you get it. And I seen nothing. I said in the, I sat in the classroom by myself observing this. And black students who didn't get the algebra right, just go home and practice. But he made sure the white students lined up after class, after the bell rung, and was like, what are your issues? So it's these type of things that goes unnoticed and uncorrected that produces this gap.
Can I say one quick story? I know that we have to go, but I came from Chicago and I moved to Michigan City, Indiana in my senior year. When I got there, I had biology too. I had chemistry. I had very high level classes. I went to a very good school in Chicago. When I got there, my aunt was a guidance counselor advisor at University of Illinois for many years of my life. And she said, when you get there, they're going to try to change those classes. But you tell them absolutely not. When I got there, the first thing he says, well, we need to put you in general science because, your biology too is probably the same as our general science. I said, my aunt said, because I'm outspoken, my aunt said that you would say that, I'm not changing any of my classes. But a couple of years later, my aunt started working at the same school. And she said that you were that aunt. However, but that's what we get. But again, African Americans need to start handling their business in their communities. Stop looking for everybody else to help because we have the knowledge, we have the resources right there. So we come together, we can fix these problems.
Yeah.
But there seems to be either a reluctance to do so or not the right catalyst that's pushing forth that agenda. thank God we have a racial issue here. That you know, the other ethnic groups here, they're watching us because they're probably sitting back trying to figure out how are they going to assimilate into this thing here too. And I think that if we keep the whole discussion of race in a multicultural perspective, where it's kept as educational, you know, why are black people angry? Well, we go into the details as to why. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And when you find that when this group is overcoming an obstacle, this group, no matter where they are in the world, there are similar thought processes in overcoming. The people do certain, I mean, I don't mean revolution and killing, that kind of a thing. I'm talking about just handling the issue of because of the obstacles, how do we move forward?
Sometimes revolutions are necessary.
Well, you know, the whole world is watching this election. They've talked to people from, I watch a lot of talk shows, but talked to people from all other nations, and they're excited about Barack Obama too. And for one reason, because they said, it looks like finally it's somebody who will even listen to us, these smaller nations that will listen to us and, you know, dialogue with us. So Obama mania is not just the USA. The whole world is watching this.
That's interesting. That's what a guy from Darfur told me the other day. Right again. Boy, I love the way that he ends his point, because it's impossible to misquote him, because he tells you, you know, where his points are.
He is an intelligent man. Wow. He is not going to say anything that you cannot go back and chart for yourself. That's something about him that hasn't come. I mean, there are people who are saying, you know, oh my God, he's really intelligent, but he's a lot more intelligent than people think he is. He's more than just the rhetoric that you see in those snippets. He's more than that.
I would like to say, please tell me if anybody, if you listen to Savage Nation or Bill O'Reilly, anything, tell me what was wrong with that. What was not factual? What was not factual?
Well, I tell you what, you know, I certainly appreciate you all openly discussing this issue with me, because a lot of blacks who I spoke with only saw the clips on TV, and they're turned off. And I think that's part of the conspiracy.
We keep separating each other.
What's that hard to divide blacks?
No, it's not. That's why I'm saying the conversation we talk is black and white, and that's fantastic. But we need a conversation on black and black.
And that's why we have this show. I appreciate you all watching tonight's show. We're going to be talking more and more about Reverend Wright. And I understand that when you watch Bill O'Reilly tonight, there's another pastor from Chicago, a white pastor that's going to be on. We're going to watch that. But again, you know, thank you all for watching tonight's show. And all we want to do here is just enlighten people and take the cataracts off their eyes, because if we're going to have a fully functioning, inclusive, multicultural society, it's best to hear what people have to say and not try to shut things up and label things like the media is doing Reverend Wright.
Like hear Barack Obama for yourself tomorrow morning.
Can't get tickets. High school. She couldn't even get tickets. She wouldn't got some tickets and couldn't get tickets.
But Barack Obama will be here tomorrow. It'd be good to go hear the man for yourself. Go out there anyway.
Well, we're going to go out there and tell them that we're from this talk show, and they might let us in. Good night.